You have one incident in America where a non-Jewish landlord murders a Muslim, and then all of a sudden we hear from you and everyone else, oh, Islam is under attack. But the truth is, right? Islamists have been attacking the world and chanting death to America and death to Israel for decades. If you go into any AI and you say, well, what does Iran mean by death to America or death to Israel? You've got to listen to a nonsensical lecture about, oh, well, they don't really mean to kill Americans. They don't really mean to kill Israelis. They just want to kill their foreign policy, which of course is not it. And it's the same with the Gazans and the people that we call Palestinians, right? If you look at the offer for a two-state solution that was made by Clinton and agreed to by Israel and then rejected by the Gazans, 40 years ago, 30 years ago, right? They'd have 40% of the state of Israel right now, right? They would have a part of Jerusalem, if not the whole thing, but they don't want it, right? Because the solution only is the elimination of the Israeli state, right? That's the sole goal, right? Now, I'm against our soldiers getting involved in combat, but I'll tell you what, the moment a rocket hits an American base, there needs to be a heavy-handed response. And if you'll look at the rhetoric from Khomeini about America paying a price, and America has paid prices. We've forgotten about 9/11, apparently, right? And we've seen attack.
But the Iranian government had nothing to do with that.
Okay. I'm talking about radical Islam, which is a cancer that is spreading throughout the United States, right? Because we talk about, oh, like, Tucker. And Tucker, hey, look, I admire any journalist that asks tough questions of politicians. Every interview with a journalist by an elected politician should be this type of combat, right? But when Tucker was interviewing Ted Cruz for Fox News, right? Softballs. He didn't get him hard-hitting questions because he was on.
Was that because of the network's policy on restraining Mr. Tucker from raising those legitimate type questions?
It's because he is a prostitute, right? And now he's getting funding from elsewhere, so he doesn't care, and he sees it as a benefit to him, right? I think every politician, Democrat politicians rarely, if ever, engage hostile media. One thing that you've got to applaud Donald Trump for is Donald Trump is always willing to engage the most hostile of media and get in arguments, right? And I admire Cruz for taking the tough questions, and I admire Tucker in this instant, both of them in this one instance, for asking the tough questions, but he really went in an agenda, and it was an anti-Israel agenda. I am anti-Americans going to war, right? I posted about it a week ago. I'm not just making this up. I was anti the war in Iraq. I felt like we were blaming the inappropriate parties instead of blaming the radicalism in Saudi Arabia, instead of looking at the Taliban.
Charles, here's my concern. It's not that same radical thought process that you like to always point out existing in Saudi Arabia. So why has not Israel bombed or attacked Saudi Arabia?
Well, because Saudi Arabia is not a threat to Israel.
That same anti-Israel sentiment in Pakistan, but why has Israel not bombed Pakistan? Because they know better. Because what Israel is doing is picking on a country much weaker than them, starting a conflict with the help of the American government to process an idea in the Middle Eastern region so they can annex that whole territory. I would not be surprised if we enter that
there's
war,
a reason why a number of other
after they bomb Iran, come to both American people and say, I see real estate opportunities.
Okay. It's not them trying to get real estate in Iran. That's just absurd. There are a number of Muslim regimes that are allowing Israel to shoot down rockets in their airspace. And the truth is, quietly, most of the Middle East, right, is very happy at the thought of Israel destroying Iran's ability to build nuclear weapons and forcing regime change, right?